Good afternoon. I want to thank each and every one of y'all for being here today, and at this particular point in time, I will call this meeting to order at 1:05. I would first like to ask Chaplain Dan Baker to come up, and Dan, if you would come up and give us a word of prayer, and then if you would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd appreciate it very much. So, Dan.
Let us pray. Oh God, giver of life,
breath, and hope, thank you that at JPS we get to work with you. We get to be your hands, your eyes, your ears. We get to touch those that are in need. And we're able to give life and breath and hope with great compassion. Thank you for this opportunity. Let us do it well. In your name we pray. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, DT. And there's a warrant. All right. Dan, thank you very much, and thank y'all all for being here. At this particular point in time, I've been told there are no citizens wishing to address the board. So therefore, I know many of you have already reviewed it. It was on the portal, in your boards. I would certainly entertain, after any comments, if there's any, I'd entertain a motion to approve the May 11th minutes which are attached. Have a motion by Dr. Weber, second by Ms. Bose. All those in favor say aye. Thank you very much. Robert, I've been stealing your thunder talking about all the good things happening. I know today we have a bunch of great introductions. So today I'm going to just let you start right off with those and what you'd like to do. So
you bet.
The floor is all yours, Robert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And you've never stole the thunder. It's all of our thunder. But the first bit of thunder I have, many of you all know, you may have seen it, but we at JPS and you as a board have allowed JPS to progress so much and do so many good things. One of the things in your life that you appreciate the most is when you're recognized by your peers for what you've done. And JPS has been recognized by its peers for what it has done. 3 weeks ago, JPS was named one of the top places to work in the United States by Modern Healthcare. And yeah, that's a whoop whoop. It's just a wonderful situation, and that is because of the direction of this board and the policies that have been set and the procedures and how we're going forward. And that's a point in time where we need to take a breath and realize how far we've come and what we've done. And I'm really proud of this team. I'm proud of you as a board. A couple things that's interesting about that list of 150 places in the United States to work, and we were really proud when we were one of the top 100 places in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to work, and that's an honor, and we're proud of that. It's nice to get recognized nationally at this point, but I believe we're only one of 2 public hospitals in the nation to receive this. There are no other public hospitals in Texas obviously receiving this, and not that there are competition, but they deal with some of the same struggles that we deal with, from recruiting and retention and all the challenges we have, and to be selected one of 2 in the nation is pretty proud. So when you all are on, for those of you who work here, those of you on the board, and even those of you in the audience, when you're on vacation this summer and you're out and about in the United States, let them know. Tell them you're from JPS, and it's not that you're bragging, you're just telling them where we are in the top 150. So thank you all very much for allowing that to happen.
Chairman, I have to stand and say this. I said this that day we were there. It's an honor that we received that award, but we could not have received it if we did not have the leadership that we've had at this hospital. And so I think we ought to stand and give them our applause.
Thank you, Pastor. You're very kind.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Reverend Emerson. I think the morning we had that, we had all the former chairmen for the last 6 years was at the meeting when we made that, and you made that comment. Everybody, Steve was there, Trent was there, you were there, I was there, and actually, Mr. Fisher, the other Mr. Fisher. So again,
The good one.
make sure the minutes reflect that, Tammy. No, but again, Ralph, thank you very much, and obviously we all concur with your comments. Great.
Yeah, that'd be very nice. If you would do that, that would be appreciative. Get whatever you get that goes along with
Moving
it.
along.
Pastor, thank you very much. The other thing I wanted to let y'all know, give you an update, and it is certainly public, and it is a very open process, and it's one that we know. You know, we've had a great relationship, and what we're going in the future with surgery and trauma care here. We're known for it. We're proud of it. We're going out for the RFP process on that. And I'm happy with the fact that we want to be very open to our taxpayers with what we do with their money and how we spend it with surgery, trauma, and all of our other services. But I want to let y'all know that we did go out a week ago for the RFP, and that process will be going on. That's posted on our website. It's very open to the public and open to anybody who would potentially want to submit any bids to that as well. So just want to give you an update on that. Also let you know that we have a lecture series. Our Human Services and our Human Resources team has put a lecture series together. There will be in the future the opportunity for some of you all to come in and talk to our employees about leadership skills, about a variety of things. It's a great process that our HR team has put together to give people an understanding of what it's needed to be a good worker, be a good employee, be a good colleague to folks. And the lecture series is kicked off a couple of months ago, and we've had a few folks in. Our next individual coming will be Judge Whitley, and Judge Whitley is going to address a lot of our employees on not only leadership skills and talents that you need, but some of the inner workings of the county and county government. I would assume that we would have our other commissioners as well at some point. We'll probably have, as I mentioned, you as leaders of the board come in as well and talk to our employees. It's a great program. It's the new JPS lecture series. The judge is coming. I don't have the list of everything, but the judge is coming on the 13th, June 13th. Yes, sir. And then we'll get a list of those for y'all as well. We have another issue that we constantly struggle with. And the issue that we struggle with is near and dear to all of our hearts in here. It's what we strive for, to try to figure out how to make JPS the place that the community looks to for its help and its assistance. And one of the biggest struggles that this community in Tarrant County has faced for long before any of us got here, we've faced this problem for the last 45, 50 years, and we've tried to make dents into this, and it's hard. Pastor Emerson has been a lead for this cause nationally and here, and it's how in the world do you deal with the challenges of infant mortality? We can no longer look aside from that. It's a challenge to lose a baby and to know the hardships and the pain that can create, and knowing that we are a developed country that should not be having the kind of numbers that we have. You as a board set us to a mission to help drop the numbers for infant mortality. And we have tried so hard to do that. We've been collaborating with our community. Again, Pastor Emerson's played a key role in that, but all of you have played a key role. If we could, I want the screen to demonstrate what we've got here. Wanda, would you do me a favor? Where is beautiful Wanda Peoples? Wanda, come to that.
There she is.
Come to that podium right there and explain what that number is, because I'm going to introduce the team that's over here to the left, but I want Wanda as our chief nurse to explain to you all what that number means.
That number is JPS's current infant mortality rate. Pat and her team took over the women's centers in 2013, and we got these numbers yesterday from Tarrant County Public Health Department. And when you compare our number, Tarrant County is at 7.11, and JPS is at 5.76, which is
Wanda, go back a couple of years and tell the board and the community where our number was, and now indicate what that 5.7 also means.
we were also, in previous years, we were as high as 8.98, and we brought it down now to 5.76. And I'm sorry, I just misspoke on that, but Tarrant County currently is at 7.22, not 7.11. That was the previous year. But they went up, and we actually went down. And we went down not just slightly, but significantly due to all the hard work that Pat and her team have put into this. And what this number represents is the number of deaths among infants under the age of 1 year per 1,000 live births. So making huge strides, and they have put so much into this, like their centering classes, their journey to life, their getting to women, trying to getting them in for prenatal care early in their pregnancies, breastfeeding, our NICU, all of the different components of every team member here that has played their role and their part in driving this number down. So I could not be more proud of them. So
since 2005, when we were tracking these numbers, JPS has never had a number that low. Yes. We've never been able to do that. So we were able to do that with Wanda and her leadership, and I want to introduce the wonderful people that are sitting over here. There are probably a few that came in that I won't have on this list, so if I don't, I want to make sure, and maybe Wanda can help, or the rest of y'all can help. But I'm going to make y'all stand because it's critically important. So Pat, please stand. Susie. And they all deserve that, but we've got a lot of names here, so I want you all to stand. So Susie, please stand. Amy, please stand. Jerry's back over there, I think. There you go. Raquel. Patricia. Leah. Jessica. Cassandra. Doris. I don't know if I saw Dr. Flood Schaefer is.
No, she couldn't make it today.
Dr. Elliott.
Dr. Elliott, great. Okay, wonderful. Dr. Elliott, thank you very, very much. Dr. Simeon, we have.
She's downstairs.
She's downstairs. Okay, and Shannon, and Gabby. Who else? Is there anybody else?
Dr. Nelms.
Dr. Nelms, there you are, Dr. Nelms.
Those are columns.
Thank you very much. Sorry, Dr. Nelms. That team right there is a major factor as to why that number is lower. Our congratulations. So when you start talking about affecting lives and what JPS does, that's time to take a breath as well and go, we make a huge impact to this community. So you all have made significant benefits to our patients, and that's always the end look, and that is, what are we doing for our patients? How can we help our patients? And Wanda, thank you very much, and thank you for your leadership as well.
Thank you.
When you have a number like that and you've made such a dent, I have nothing else to tell y'all because I don't want anything else to follow that. Yeah. So, Mr. Chairman, that's all I have. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Robert. Another round of applause. You know, Robert, I'll just follow up by saying again to Wanda and to Pat and the entire team. Pat, thank you and the entire team for what you've done. And Ralph, it goes without saying, it's not something you just started last year. You've been an advocate and a strong worker for this, so congratulations to you for the leadership that you've shown in that area. So thank you again, Robert. I will take one moment before we kind of get into the next report, and I think I said this last month. I didn't check the minutes, probably should. I read them, but I know everybody's schedule is very, very busy. It's a hectic time of year in May and June, and again, I thank the board. Look around the table. We have a full board meeting again. We have all 11 of our board members here. And when you add up all the committee members and blue ribbons and everything else we're involved in, thank y'all very much for being here. So anyway, Dr. Ziegler, Dan, I'll move it to you for a report from the medical executive staff.
First thing Use of the physician lounge being used for everything, being used for a lot of meetings, and there are various things we're going to talk about. We're also having a date for our joint meeting in July 11th. And finally, the Medical Executive Committee approved the nomination of Dr. Irving Ward for Vice Chairman of Anesthesiology. Dr. Ward attended osteopathic school in Missouri, Kirksville. Also did his training there. He's been here for 2 years, and that was actually his nomination.
Too late.
Basically, you have a motion to approve that nomination. I would consider another motion. I have a motion by Dr. Weber to approve, and I have a second by Dr. Lowry. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Dan, anything else? Anything else, Dan, for the medical?
No, just for the credentialing.
Good. All right. Well, great. Thank you so very much.
To add to that, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to know that you all next meet, the July 13th meeting is our traditional meeting where we bring in medical leadership and the MEC, and the board will have their joint meeting. We usually have a few comments and things that we're working on, the collaborative effort between the two, and then we give the luxury of our colleagues from the physician side to leave, and then we'll do the rest of our meeting. But that's a joint meeting that we've had, and we always have that every year, and that's coming up at the July 13th meeting.
July 16th, or what they do? July 13th. Gotcha.
Yeah.
July 13th meeting, then great. Again, Dan, thank you so very much. Dr. Johnson, James, I think we will now consider and talk about a claim.
5:30.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
For the chief and chair search updates, I'm happy to announce, as many of you may have seen in email, our selection committees have met for a couple and made selections. For the chairman of psychiatry, chief of behavioral health service line, Dr. Alan Podewiltz was selected as the chairman and chief. For orthopedic surgery, musculoskeletal service line, we had a wonderful interaction in the selection committee, which actually led to some things that we will do for chairs going forward in the ways that they're evaluated, and that feedback is provided, how it's visible. On the outcome of that one, Dr. Brian Webb was selected as the chair of orthopedics and the musculoskeletal service line chief. For OB-GYN and women and infants, we have interviewed 3 applicants, and the selection committees are being scheduled to try to meet next week to make a decision on that one. And the same is true internal medicine. We have interviewed 4 applicants for that position, and we are trying to assemble a meeting of the selection committee for next week on that one. Our family medicine primary care is still ongoing recruitment and very close to, I'm going to say this out loud, signing a national level applicant. So other updates, we continue to work with medical staff toward physician engagement, physician well-being efforts. We also have the acclaimed compensation plan will be launched this week from the standpoint of we will send addendums tomorrow to all the physicians to allow them to opt in early to the plan if they choose. If not, they will also have a second addendum by which they would move into the plan on the scheduled time, with whole group moving in by no later than January 1st, 2018. Otherwise, the other update is on recruitment. Currently, we have 24 open this is as of about 5 days ago. 24 open physician positions, 16 advanced practice professionals, for a total of 40 open positions. We have applicants for 34 of those 40 positions, and they're in various stages of CV review, phone screen interview, and extending offers.
Any questions for Dr. Johnson? I do appreciate you putting out the information to the doctors that went out to everyone. I know it's on the portal too, so if
Yes, sir.
on the board needs to see anything about those 2 individuals, and please tell them congratulations. We will likewise. They're actually pretty good.
So they're approved as acclaimed service line chiefs. As it relates to the medical staff, that's an entirely separate process, and so where each one falls in that, you will. Okay. Anything else? Thank you.
Any other questions, Dr. Johnson? If not, James, thank you so very much. Appreciate it. Committee reports at this time. The first one being finance.
Yes, sir. We met last week. We considered about 20 or so contracts that were forwarded to the full board for their consideration. I recommend that you approve. I think the committee recommends that you approve. We also considered financials from the hospital and from a claim, and I believe Sharon's going to make some comments during our closed session on a claim. And I have some stuff today.
All right. Sharon, thank you very much. Mind your way.
Huh?
I'm blocking
Yeah,
you.
no, you're good, you're good. Today's report for April will be brief at the board level. For the month of April, the consolidated and combined statements, we did come in at a loss from operations of about $1.5 million against a budget of $680,000 gain. We did have non-operating revenue of $912,000. So combined net income was right at $644,000 loss. Again, for the month of April on the hospital, we did have a strong net revenue month. Most of that was due to strong admissions of about 6% over. The outpatient volumes were fairly soft against budget. We were about 1% under. The dish and waiver revenue was remaining under for this month. And mainly the story for the month was in operating expenses. Salaries were high because of the inpatient volumes. And under the benefits category, we did have some high employee claims come through for April. We also had some relatively high purchase service that drove the operating expenses up for that month. And then if you look over year to date, the loss from operations on a consolidated total is about $5.9 million. And net income is a loss of $1.4 million. Any questions? Okay.
Any questions for Sharon?
Thank you.
If not, Sharon, thank you very much. Anyway, thank you. And I know you made a recommendation when we get to the consents or anything else in finance we need to talk about. Super. Thank you so very much. We need to approve the finance deal. That's already been approved, yeah. Human Services, Dorothy?
The HR committee met on June the 1st, and we continue to revise the HR key performance scorecard. This month, we added the job categories so we could look at the turnover for that. So we'll keep developing that, and maybe once we get it, it will be presented to the full board. We received an update on the succession plan, which consisted of a succession development plan for JPS leaders. We've been working on this for a long time, but we now have the first part of it, and as it is developed, I'll bring more back. Each of you should receive an HR committee assessment through the email. I'll ask that you complete that as soon as possible and return it. It'll come from Pia. And return it to her so we can look at how well we are meeting our charges. And it will be done by some of your staff, right, Robert, too? Okay? And then I have one item for closed session. That's it.
Thank you, Dorothy. Any questions for Dorothy? All right, thank you very much. I will mention that Planning, Quality, and Governance, they all met on May the 4th, and they are actually reported to the May 11th board, and they're actually in the minutes. So there's no actual updated reports from that. While we're talking about committees, it's not actually a standing committee, but due to the amount of work they're doing, both Trent and Roy serve on the Blue Ribbon Committee, and either one of you gentlemen, Trent, either one of y'all, you might just update.
Well, mostly our efforts on behalf of the board, excuse me, thank you. Mostly our efforts on behalf of the board and the cooperation in the meetings, I would say that our Blue Ribbon Committee perspires excellence. We literally do, with all due modesty. And progress is being made, and Trent probably can make more sense out of what's come at the meetings.
I think Dr. Lowry's right. The group has consistently reported from both of their consultants data that's been consistent with what JPS has recognized for some time relative to capital needs. I think as we received our final facilities and ambulatory reports now for both consultants' recommendations, there are no surprises. I think the thing that will ultimately separate the wheat from the chaff here will be the amount of that fund when it comes up, because it's going to be a big number. And as we're working through that, I think there's a lot of really bright people on that committee that bring a lot of business sense to the table, and I think a very efficient method of looking to see what the district needs. But also I'm very encouraged by the fact that there is, I would say, uniform recognition that the district needs dramatic improvements in terms of capital. And it's manifested in patient services, ambulatory, and inpatient. And so we're really encouraged by the work that they've done, and look forward to them beginning to probably prioritize this. I'm going to guess in the July meeting, and hopefully by the end of August timeframe, we should have this hopefully.
I think the most important thing I gathered from this that might be shared on a public nature is that the revenue sources for this healthcare institution, the number one revenue source is not taxes and income. This place creates revenue that is our number one revenue source off of insurance billings and patient payments. And I think that's a real positive thing moving forward to the board. And Trent, I think you made another point that we've not incurred major debt
Right.
over in many years.
20 years.
20 years.
I mean, we're one of the lowest debt per capita hospital systems in the country.
Mhm.
And because of that, because we've been careful and conservative, and we've made gigantic improvements here from revenues, from cash, without having to go out for debt. And the fact that we now are in a position to go out and look for debt really is a great opportunity for us, because not only are interest rates favorable, but because we have such a giant debt capacity relative to the size of this network, it's not going to be as painful for us as it would a district that had already, issued hundreds of millions of dollars that we're having to make a big impact on taxes. So that phase is yet to ultimately be determined by the committee. But Dr. Lowry is right. We're in a great position in Tarrant County to make a big difference without having to make a big impact on taxes.
Good. Any questions from the board to Roy or Trent pertaining to that? And I'll just say this again. I just made the comment, there's 11 of us serve on this board, along with staff and the individuals from the hospital. But I look back through the minutes, we were talking about all the meetings. Trent chairs a committee of this board, and so does Roy. And I saw where you had 2 in May. You just had a blue ribbon committee this week. How long did it last? 3 hours? 3 hours. And so, like everyone else, appreciate all the time. And you got another one on June 20th coming up. So just to let y'all know that. But again, I say that, but I think this entire board, so many people on this board serving so many other capacities and committees, I appreciate all your help. So thank y'all very much. Yes.
But before we go into consent, Mr. Chair, if I could real quick, we have 2 of the nation's brightest interns, and they chose JPS to come here. These are administrative interns. And to Dorothy's point, when you start looking at how do you grow your organization, how do you bring younger people in, how do you bring people who've changed careers into JPS, Sasha, if you would wave to everybody, and I think Nicole's back there as well. Sasha, the young lady who waved first, is another product. She's actually from here, but she goes to school in Iowa. It seems that we've got a connection to the state of Iowa, and there is a direct conduit from anybody in a higher education facility in Iowa coming straight to JPS. And Nicole was part of the, after her graduation from the university, was part of the Teach America program. And the Teach America program is a wonderful parallel to a lot of the things that we're trying to do in this community by reaching out and helping those that need a helping hand with education. We parallel that with a helping hand in healthcare. So these two young ladies, you'll see walking the halls, you'll see a part of our organization. They'll be coming to board meetings and all, and they've got a bright future no matter where they are, whether they're here or somewhere else.
Mr. Early, can I ask one favor? It's not that Bill and James are overly large, but I couldn't see the hand.
Did y'all stand
Sasha,
up? Sasha and Nicole, y'all stand up.
Yeah, would y'all please stand up? Well, thank y'all. Thank you, Robert. Next item of business is to consider a resolution to nominate Sharon Clark. Robert, I think you're going to present.
Yes,
that
this
information.
is an effort for Sharon to serve as representing JPS, but serve on the Trust and Administration Advisory Committee for the Tobacco Settlement Fund. It is a position that is good to have JPS on. It gives us representation there. So I would ask the board to consider and allowing her to serve in that capacity on the Tobacco Fund settlement. You all recall that was established about, gosh, 15 years ago now to deal with it, and there still is a corpus of funds that are overseen by the state of Texas, and we as a public hospital receive benefit.
I have a motion by Dr. Weber.
Second.
Have a second by Dorothy. All those in favor say aye. Sharon, you need something else to do. I'm glad to see that they've nominated you for another one. Which brings us to the consent agenda. It's obviously on the portal, and you've had all the information. Steve, many of these items went through finance, and Steve said finance recommends them. If there are no questions, I'd be more than glad to consider a motion for approval on the consent agenda. I have a motion by Mr. Montgomery.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bose. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Which takes us down to, I guess the next item will be report of general counsel. Mr. Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I like Robert recognizing two interns 3 years ago. Our law firm, as general counsel for the hospital district, started a summer internship program for students, and a first-year student and a second-year student each summer from Texas A&M University School of Law, and I'm pleased to introduce Stoker Burke. Stoker has just finished the first year of law school at Texas A&M University School of Law. He is a graduate of an undergraduate degree from Texas A&M. The one thing I want to mention, and Robert mentioned, thank you, Mr. Fisher. Sharon understands that noise that's coming from you. So, Robert mentioned Teach America, but I want to mention something. When Stoker was involved at Texas A&M, and probably, I think, one of the most special things, he chaired what's called the big event at A&M. 23,000 students and faculty on a Saturday go out across the community to really improve and help improve the lives of people who can't help themselves. Stoker chaired that. He was on that committee his sophomore and junior year. That's a program that started at Texas A&M, and I'm very proud to say has spread across the country with other universities who are doing the same thing in their community. And so Stoker provided leadership for that community effort, and we're glad to have Stoker as part of our group the first half of the summer, and I'll introduce a young lady who will be with us the second half of the summer when we get here. So thank you. The other last thing I have is I would remind the board as a whole, as I did at Finance under Chairman Montgomery's initiative, those contracts under $200,000 are posted. A list of those are posted on your website. There were 23 of those that were under $200,000 that were negotiated and executed for the month of April 2017. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. At this particular point in time, if there's no discussion here, I would make the motion. We're going to move to executive session.
Need a motion.
And it's 1:40, and we thank y'all for being here, and we will go to closed session. Thank you. All those in favor? Is there any business to come before anything else? We stand adjourned. Thank you.